What was it
The
about?
root of it was me being 10 years old. Imagine this, Scott. I'm 10 years old, and I flip on the TV, and the first thing I see of football is Miami versus Florida State. I see Michael Barrow. I see Darren Smith. I see Jesse Armstead. I see these guys playing linebacker and laying the hammer down on Florida State.
Right.
And then I see Florida State with Marvin Jones coming right back, and they're laying the hammer down. And this is literally a gladiator brawl-out grudge match that ends 1917, whatever the score was. And I said, I want to be like them. I want to be like those guys. So as they were playing those games, I was living those games as a 10-year-old. And then every year I grew up, I felt like I was playing in those games. So when I finally got my chance, oh, man, it was nothing like it. It was already in me. Rage is a perfect word because the hatred that I saw on the field when those guys played against each other, I wanted to play just like that, and I want to take it to Florida State just the same way.
A special salute for the truth, Sean Taylor. See, everywhere I go, you know I rep that you. Orange and green from head to toe, that's you.
What's up, guys? Welcome to NMD TV. Canes all day. If you rock it with the U, then you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss a video. Now, anybody who watches college football knows what the Miami versus Florida State games are all about. It's no sugarcoating. No matter what the record is, no matter the state of the programs, if you lose this game, it could ruin your season. All the rivalry cliches you've ever heard can be applied to this rivalry. This is a rivalry like no other, which makes sense why College Game Day made it its primetime game of the week. The 2-0 Miami Hurricanes will host the 0-1 Florida State Seminoles. Let's preview this game. Now, this will be the first game preview where COVID-19 will have an effect on the game, as Florida State will be without their head coach Mike Norvell, who does have the COVID-19, so he will not be with the team. This is how it's affected the team so far. During practices, he's been there virtually. So real-time virtually, he's been able to speak to the coaches, speak to the players, everything through different type of technologies. He's been good at that part. As for when it comes to game day, according to him, once they leave the hotel, he can't have any communication with the team, can't call in on a phone and give them some different plays. They're going to be on their own with their interim head coach. And I think that's big. When you go into a game like a Miami versus Florida State, the head coach, he doesn't have to hype players up. Yes, he does have to work on a scheme, but I think his most important job is to keep everybody even keel because the tensions are so high. Now you don't have Mike Norvell, especially when you're a new head coach. So now the coaches, the players will be looking at Coach Thompson. If something goes bad, who do they look to? I don't see any positives of not having Mike Norvell. Unless you don't agree, unless you think he's not a good head coach, then maybe you're happy about this situation. But I can tell you no one's happy that he's got COVID-19, and losing him during the game, it does affect them, and I think it's going to affect them negatively. Now, how can Florida State win this game? Let's take a look at some keys to the game. But first, let's take a look at some key players. Now, everybody knows Asante Samuels. Everybody knows James Blackman, Big Marvin. And I think when you look at a lot of different preview videos and you look at the preview, those games are going to be mentioned. But I want to look at a couple other guys that for Florida State to win this game, you may have to see something big from them. The first guy is going to shock some people, Jordan Travis, the backup quarterback. This is why I say this, okay? Last week, Jordan Travis was actually, or not last week, week one, Jordan Travis was the leading rusher for Florida State. No Cam Akers. You got to remember that. We're so used to seeing Cam Akers with Florida State. He's long gone with the LA Rams. Jordan Travis rushed the ball 6 times for 39 yards. They put him in as the quarterback, and we all know his scrambling ability. Can he pass the ball? He did attempt it one time, and it was a duck. Why I think Jordan Travis is a key player to this game, because I think if James Blackman loses his cool, they're going to throw Jordan Travis in the game. And I also think Florida State's had a bye week. So you've got to think they're going to throw some trickeration into this. You've got to think a game of this magnitude, they're picked to lose the game. You got to come out with some trickery. And Jordan Travis is a gadget guy who you can throw in maybe a wide receiver pass, maybe the Wildcat. I don't know. I think Jordan Travis is a name that's going to be on this game somehow, some way. Another player that has to step up. And if you're a Florida State fan, you should be challenging Tamorrion Terry, Scary Terry. Listen, all offseason we heard about him being a first-round draft pick. We heard about him being physical, fast. Last year, he was out physical. Last year, he only had 40 yards. Of course, you can look at the offensive line. They didn't even have time to pass the ball. But the Miami Hurricanes secondary did what they need to do to shut down Scary Terry. You look at last week. He has a beautiful route. A double move gets wide open, and he drops the pass. This is going to be Terry's last time playing the Miami Hurricanes. He's never defeated them. If they want to beat Miami, he has to have a big game. The next one is who I think is Florida State's best defender, Amari Gaynor. Last week he had 10 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss. He seemed like he was everywhere. I keep saying last week, but I mean the Georgia Tech game. You know what I'm saying. Amari Gaynor isn't playing. You got to realize that he's going to be all over the field. So does he match up with Brevin Jordan? Does he spot De'Aaron King? Amari Gaynor is going to have to leave his impact on this game. For Miami, the players that you have to look at. Now, Miami's had a great 2 weeks, so there's a lot of players that can be key players, but I think Miami's defensive line has to step up. Now, I've seen Miami defensive line, when you look at the stat line, they don't have a lot of sacks. The front four has only accounted for 1 sack, but they've affected games by pressures on the quarterback, by resetting the line of scrimmage. You see Nesta, you see Hunt, you see Ford in the backfield, you see Jalen Phillips, Quincy Roche. And what I want people to realize is they don't have a lot of sacks, but you can see how teams are game planning around Miami's defensive line because they're running a lot of quick plays, a lot of rollouts. It's going to be tough for any offensive line to just straight up try to block this Miami Hurricane defensive line. Jalen Phillips, Hunt, Nesta, all those guys, I'm challenging y'all to have a field day. Remember, Florida State versus Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech was out. Several of their key defensive players, several of their front seven was out, and they still got to James Blackman 3 times. They still put a lot of pressure, forced turnovers, and they were everywhere, it seemed. Miami dominated last year's game versus Florida State because of Gregory Rousseau and the boys. Miami's defensive line, I think Miami's defensive line, you get to the quarterback, you pressure the quarterback, you make them throw the ball quickly. That in turn will help out your secondary, will help out your linebackers. And also, the matchup nightmare. The best tight end in the nation, Brevin Jordan, is a key player, man, because I think, yes, De'Aaron King, yes, Cam Harris, but Brevin Jordan is a guy who we saw last week. We can line you up on the line. We can line you up at the slot. We can line you up on the outside. And when King gets just a little bit worried, he's got a security blanket. You try to spy King, then you leave Brevin Jordan open. I expect Brevin Jordan to have a big game. I think he's a key player for Miami Hurricane fans to watch this game. Let's take a look at keys to winning this game. Now, this key will go to both teams. This is a storied rivalry. You've got to keep your emotions in check. Can't have after the play penalties. Can't have bench brawls. Can't be doing a lot of silly stuff that could cost your team. The crazy celebrations that lead to injuries. I'm talking to you, Bubba Bowden, because we need you, player. Everybody's got to keep their emotions in check. It's easy for me, the YouTube guy, to say it, but I already know once they're on that field, it's going to be tough. So listen, emotions, they must be in check for both teams. Miami, when I look at this game, Miami's the better team. No matter if you're a Florida State fan or a Miami Hurricane fan, you know on paper when you line it up, you look at the line, Miami is the better team. So keys to the game, how do I think Miami can lose this game? Well, if they turn over the ball a lot. So Miami, a key to the game is you can't turn over the ball. De'Aaron King has done a great job. The offense has done a great job. The offensive line has protected De'Aaron King. De'Aaron King has protected the ball. The running backs have protected the ball. The only way bad teams stay in the game with good teams is if the good team gives the ball away. So you cannot have any turnovers. Do not allow any fluky trick plays. Florida State has had a week to prepare for this game. Florida State, without Mike Norvell, they may come out with some silly stuff. A double wide receiver pass, a fake punt pass. They may come out with some dickery, Doc. But we got to be ready for that. So my keys for Miami to win this game, of course, there's a lot of different keys, but I want Miami to keep your emotions in check, no turnovers, no trick plays. How can Florida State win this game? Well, first, Florida State, you got to find yourself a running game. You got to find yourself a running game because you don't have Cam Akers anymore. You didn't run the ball well against Georgia Tech. Your leading rusher was your backup quarterback. You got to find an established running game. If you remember last year, they actually got some momentum when they put Cam Akers in the wild cam. So do you put Jordan Travis in and just try to run him, and hopefully something breaks? I don't know. But Miami is a team that seems like they want to score, and they want to score fast. The way you keep them from scoring fast is, hey, run the ball, establish some type of running game. Because I promise you this, you do not want James Blackman or Jordan Travis to be dropping back 30, 40 times against that Miami D-line. Woo, you don't want it. Terry, you got to have a big game. I've said this. Listen, Scary Terry, you've got to have a big game. When you look at the Miami Hurricanes secondary, the corner position has been the position that you question. You've got to have a good game. Scary Terry, this is your last year. A lot of people have said that you're going to be a first rounder. You're strong. You're physical. You've got to be able to take advantage and make plays for Florida State. Listen, the quarterback position isn't that great. So when they give you a chance, you got to make the play. All right. And of course, Florida State, you've got to keep your emotions in check. Same thing with Miami. Florida State, you can't allow any penalty. You can't afford any penalties. You're not the better team. You can't afford any penalties in this game. And that's just me being 100% honest. All right. When you look at this game, Vegas gives Miami an 11-point as an 11-point favorite. Looking at different sites, everybody's around that from 11 to 14. People think that. ESPN, although at the beginning of the year they picked Florida State to beat Miami, they give Miami a 56% chance, according to their FPI, to win this game. What is my prediction? So far, I'm 2-0. And we're going to be 3-0. Because let's be honest here. I'm looking through my mind because this is a rivalry game. Anything can happen. It is college football. Literally, anything can happen. But I'm looking at this game and I'm saying, how can Florida State win this game? I just don't see it. They got too much to worry about. They got to worry about their coach. They got to worry about De'Aaron King. They got to worry about their Brevin Jordan. They got to worry about their D-line. They got to worry about their quarterback situation. They got so much to worry about. The running game. They're the away team. The only positive is that not a lot of people expect Florida State to win this game. So honestly, they should just be playing. They should be playing carefree because not a lot of people think they're going to win this game. I have Miami winning, and it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. I'm going to say it right now. It's going to be ugly. I hope, I pray Manny Diaz holds no mercy. I would like a 50-piece McChicken on Florida State's head. And if you're a Florida State fan watching this, you may call me a homer, but let's be honest. Y'all are ass water. Y'all are doo-doo. That's just me being 100% honest. We have the better team this year. Miami will win this game, and it's not even close. Matter of fact, I think Miami goes down in scores, and I think Florida State goes down in scores, and then it's time to put the kiddies to bed because it's going to get ugly. Let me know what you think, man. What's your prediction? Let me know. I'm out. Peace.